Hi friends, we're back for another week of Sunday school. Pretty fun. I'm still imagining seeing you all out here in front of me and hanging out together, so hope you're doing okay this week. Want to make sure that you got your little bulletins on your emails, so one for each of you, and then also your family time together. This week we've got another one that's you can cook, another fun one of making something, so that should be neat. And then another one where you're going to make like a parachute. Think about that one. That'd be kind of cool, because you'll be talking about wind and laying like a sheet on the floor and lifting it up. So check that out. That could be fun too. So I invite you to do some of those fun activities together with your family. Okay, so what season are we in? I don't see Easter because we're finally done with Easter. So now what have we been waiting for? We've been waiting for Pentecost. Now it's Pentecost. And so what color do you think Pentecost might be? Can you guess what color it might be? It's red. Yeah, I always like Pentecost and Reformation because they're red. And I like all the red paraments and the red stools and stuff. So it's red. So I'm envisioning you guys all wearing red while you're sitting out there. So it's Pentecost. And Pentecost, do you remember how we get Pentecost? What's penta mean? It means 5, right? Remember like the Pentagon we would talk about in the past? So penta is a 5, and so Pentecost is 50 days after Easter. So it's Pentecost, and now we're going to start a season of Pentecost. And guess what color that season of Pentecost is going to be? I'll let you think about that one. But you probably wouldn't think too hard, but think about it. Okay, so we'll talk about Pentecost. And the story of Pentecost comes in the book of Acts in the Bible. And Acts is in the Old Testament or the New Testament? It's in the New Testament, right. It's after the 4 Gospels. We have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then Acts. And Acts is kind of like action, so it's telling about things that are happening. And this week, it's telling us about the Holy Spirit. What do you think the Holy Spirit is? Well, let's see what our friends are going to tell us about the Holy Spirit. But what's that got to do with the Tractorsaurus Rex? We'll have to see.
Sunday, the Out-of-State Convention Center will be turned into a giant pit of God's love by the Quad Annual National Associated Novice Church Youth Conference. And this Nazi conference will be bigger, better, and more extreme than ever before. We're talking over 30,000 Christian youths from around the country sent to represent their churches. We're talking keynotes, Bible study groups, team-building exercises, and an appearance by the one and only Tractorsaurus Rex. Come and see the Christian event so extreme, it only happens once every 4 years.
That place looks amazing. So amazing.
I told you! A place so filled with God's love that giant mechanical dinosaurs are moved to study the New Testament.
It's not fair that the older kids get to go and we have to stay here. Completely unfair.
I even heard the Holy Spirit will be there.
Really? The Holy Spirit is at the Outer State Convention Center?
Think about it, Otto. 30,000 Christian youths gathered in one place. The Holy Spirit has to at least make an appearance.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Wow, everyone seems really down today.
Of course we're down. The older kids all get to go to the Nancy conference, and we have to sit in the same boring Sunday school with the same people we've known for years.
Why don't we get to go to the Nancy conference, Roxy?
You do get to go. Just when you're a little older, Otto.
Where's the justice in that? I'm very mature for my age. Me too.
Okay, settle down, everyone. We really need to start today's lesson.
What's the point? How can we learn anything when the Holy Spirit is at the Nancy conference?
You mean the Holy Spirit has left us?
We can't spread God's love anymore?
No, that's not at all what I'm trying to say. Quiet, everyone. Quiet, everyone.
Quiet, everyone!
Do you really think the Holy Spirit can only be in one place at one time?
Yes?
Yeah, we went over this. It's at the Nancy conference.
But the Holy Spirit connects Christians all over the world. How could it do that if it was only at the Nancy conference?
The internet?
The Holy Spirit never leaves us, whether you're at an exciting conference or at your regular Sunday school. The Holy Spirit empowers us to spread God's love everywhere.
But how can we spread God's love to people we already know?
That's a big part of what Sunday school is for.
It is?
Of course it is. We come together every week to learn how to spread God's love to each other and the entire world.
Oh.
Okay. But Tractorsaurus Rex.
Yeah, that's gonna be epic. We're gonna miss it.
Well, there's always Bonosaurus Rex.
Brontosaurus Rex?
You know, my pet dinosaur robot boat.
Okay, so what was our story about today? They were all sitting around talking about a conference, didn't they? And just a spoiler alert, that reminds us about the ELCA National Youth Gathering, which is coming up next year. But you know what? That's for the older kids too, but it's something to look forward to. And there's lots of kids all over the country that come and share God's love. But who was supposed to be at that conference? The Holy Spirit, right? Yeah. But was the Holy Spirit only at the conference? No, it wasn't, right? The Holy Spirit, what did Roxy say? The Holy Spirit is always with us. And the Holy Spirit is what helps us to share God's love. And the Spirit fills us, and we're always filled with God's love. And so it's not just one place where the Spirit is. The Spirit is all around us. Yeah, we share God's love. And it connects the Christians all throughout the world together with the Spirit, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so the Spirit is important. And the other thing that they, you know, when they were all talking over each other and whatever, that's kind of like it was at Pentecost too. Everybody, all the disciples were talking all over each other, but what prevailed? It was the Holy Spirit that was filling them with all their excitement. And that's what Roxy was trying to tell them, that the Holy Spirit is there with them. And the Holy Spirit is there with you too. Yeah. And you know what we need to do? We need to read our Bible story. So let's read our story from Acts that we talked about. Okay? It's called A Gust of Wind. A gust of wind blasted through the house in Jerusalem. The disciples jumped up from the table. Andrew grabbed the bread. John and James grabbed the cups. The tablecloth flew into the air. Plates crashed to the floor. The disciples were celebrating the festival of Pentecost. But now their meal was a mess. See it over there? Andrew dropped the bread in surprise. A flame of fire floated over each disciple's head. See the flames of fire over the disciples' heads? The flames were bright, red, orange, and yellow, but they weren't hot. Andrew pointed to the flames. Look! The disciples looked. John and James dropped the cups. Peter's and Simon's eyes grew wide. Bartholomew's and Philip's mouths dropped open. Matthew, Thomas, and Matthias gasped. Thaddeus and the other James pointed to Andrew's head. You have a flame too. Yeah, see, they was pointing, they all have a flame on their head. Suddenly the disciples began to speak in different languages. Latin, Greek, Arabic, all the languages of the world. They rushed outside. We are filled with God's Spirit, shouted Matthew. God is the ruler of all, Philip exclaimed. The street filled with Jewish people from many countries were celebrating Pentecost in Jerusalem. Every person, no matter where they had come from, heard the disciples speaking about God's power in their own language. The people couldn't believe their ears. Some in the crowd sneered. They could not believe that the disciples could actually speak all the languages. But many other people were amazed. Peter yelled, "Each of you hears our words in your own language. God's Spirit has made this possible." See, there's Peter telling them, God's Spirit made it possible to understand all the languages and to understand what was happening. So they knew God's love and they shared the good news, the Holy Spirit filled them, the Spirit of Pentecost. Remember that the Holy Spirit is surrounding you and keeping you close and filling you with God's love all the time. So will you pray together with me? Repeat after me like we always do, okay? God, we are grateful for your Holy Spirit. Help us realize the superpower we have through your Holy Spirit. Help us love and care for others as we tell the good news of Jesus to as many people as we can. Amen. See you next week.